presents How to Musician with Cory Wong.
Got a guitar? Want to make $1 million? Hi, I'm Cory Wong, and over the course of this video, I'm going to teach you how to become a freelance finance music millionaire. We've all heard the trope of the sad underemployed musician, but to that I say, no more. Just follow my simple 9-step program and Freelance your way to success. Step 1, find a gig. They're out there. Step 2, reevaluate your spending. It's time for you to make a budget. Step 3, ensure you keep a complete and up-to-date calendar. Step 4, expand your online presence. You're your own marketing department now. Step 5, look for another gig. That last one just ended. Step 6, apply for health insurance. You're self-employed now. Step 7, now it's time to have a life. Exercise, kids, dog, no problem. Step 8, collect all receipts and 1099 forms. You do not want Uncle Sam coming to audit you. Trust me. Step 9, enter the job market again. It's time for another gig. Wow, it's so easy. Surviving as a freelance musician can be complicated. It's an unpredictable balancing act hovering between make your own schedule freedom and will I ever work again anxiety. But make no mistake, being a freelance musician is very much a full-time job. It's honestly more like having a bunch of jobs. You're the boss, the accountant, you're the marketing department, HR, PR, and yeah, the custodian. While many of these episodes are going to focus on the artistic and creative side of professional musicianship, this episode is going to take a more practical look at the financial and logistical realities of freelance finance. First off, we're not in it for the money. We can't be. That's not what art is about, that's not what creativity is about, and that's not what the joy of music is about. But for many of us, this is our profession. I am a professional musician. I make money playing and writing and producing music. That's the reality of it. So I'm gonna talk about that today. Part of being a freelance musician or a freelance worker in general is understanding the ebbs and flows of income. There are different types of income that you get, some more transient. Oh, all of a sudden I worked on this project and I got a crap ton of money, and all of a sudden I have no work for 3 months. That's the reality of it. So when you get that job that pays you a ton of money, you can't just go blow that on a bunch of extracurricular things because you need to be able to maintain yourself through those droughts. That's really important, and that's something that I see a lot of people mess up and then find themselves in a really tough financial place. Now, I talked about transient income, things that come and go. Oh, this happened to be here, and now I got nothing. This happened to be here, I got nothing. And that's really great. That's part of freelance work. But for me, one of the things that I've found really helpful is to also have some income that's a little more predictable, a little more steady. When I first started as a professional musician, I was playing in a jam band that was making enough money to just kind of record our own stuff and have a little bit of money to spend on some microphones because we wanted those. But it wasn't something that was sustaining us. It wasn't that sort of thing. I had music lessons. I was teaching a lot of lessons. I was teaching some classes at schools and teaching private lessons. Then I would also occasionally get a wedding gig or something. It was like, oh my gosh, I got a gig that paid $350. This is insane. That would get me through the week, and that was that sort of thing. And then eventually I started getting more gigs that would pay that amount. And basically it's been whatever the transient income is and whatever the steady income is, I'd try to keep those things still going, still have both avenues. So for me right now, some of my more steady income is remote session work or session work for other people, streaming royalties from Spotify, Apple Music, Bandcamp, even now I guess YouTube just a little bit, and all those sort of things. So there's all these different ways that I can have income that kind of remains mostly steady or rises a little bit as my profile rises as an artist. And those are things that are kind of steady, along with when we are touring or playing live gigs, there's kind of a steady amount of gigs that I do that are somewhat predictable. And then there's other things that are much more pressure. Maybe it's a tour. So for me, I have to think about what I'm gonna make on a tour and what my expenses are on a tour. And I have to really hope that that tour lands the way that I think it will, because my budgeting might get totally messed up if I find myself paying 10 people to come out on the road, an entire months of hotels for all those people, all the flights for all those people, and if there's any passport or visa things that need to get situated to make that happen, whether we be going somewhere else or I'm bringing somebody here, those are all expenses that I need to be aware of. And they're the reality of being a freelance musician and being a business owner. And that leads me to the next point, which is you are a business owner. You are now an entity beyond just a person. This is your profession. You need to treat yourself like a business. You need to conduct yourself in a business manner if you want to be a professional. So do good business. Keep track of your income, keep track of your receipts and your spending, and make sure that you're not fluffing those numbers, because doing good business is good business.
Hi, CW. It's Mr. Wong. We need to talk about Q3 spending. We've got about $5,000 unaccounted for.
Yes, sir. We seem to have had some unexpected discretionary spending. I think I have the receipt around here somewhere. Just a moment. Hey, intern Cory.
What's up, boss?
Have you seen the pile of receipts I had on my desk last week? No, sir. Maybe custodian Cory threw them out? Can you check? Hey, custodian Cory. Huh? Did you throw out any receipts? Yeah, I thought they were trash. Okay. Custodian threw them out, sir. Thought they were trash. Does he know what it was for? Hey, what was the receipt for? A moped? We bought a moped? Sir, he says we bought a moped. Ah, that's right. Mr. Wong, it looks like we used that $5,000 to buy a moped.
A moped? Why'd we buy a moped?
1 second. Why'd we buy a moped? Why'd we buy a moped? We thought it was cool. You thought it was cool, sir? Ah, that's right. Mr. Wong, we bought the moped because we thought it was cool.
Oh, right. The cool moped. Good job, CW.
Well, time to head home.
At some point, you might think you're never gonna get hired again, and at some point, you are going to have so much work coming in, you don't know how to manage your time. And I would encourage you to not overcommit yourself, because what happens is you gain a reputation by those things. So if you're really busy, it's okay to turn something down and say, I don't have the energy, or I don't have the bandwidth, I don't have the time to do this right now. I would love to, but I just can't. I'm committed to other things, and I want to honor those commitments. There's no shame in that. There's also no shame in saying, hey, I don't really have anything going on for the next couple months, so if you need somebody around for any help, I'm glad to help. I would love to just help out in any way. Whether you expect to get paid or not, just do it anyway. Do it without getting paid, because that person might hire you down the road because you did a good job. They might not know what you're capable of, and they might have not hired you because they're not sure. And now that you offered your services up and they know that you can crush it, they might hire you for the biggest gig you've ever had in your life because you showed up for the job that didn't pay anything. Now, a lot of people like to rail on the music business right now, and I will say that we're in a weird place. All I've ever known is selling some physical product and putting stuff on the internet and making the majority of my income via the internet. And I'm here to tell you, you can do it. It's really hard. It's really hard. But I think if you find what's most magnetic about you and you really put that forward and have a good sense of business about you and do good business, like I said, you'll be able to find a way to make some money online. You can make money through streaming. It's not always the greatest, but if you have a big enough following, it can sustain you. It can pay your bills. Which leads me to the other thing. How much money do you really need? It's different for everybody. What's gonna help you be comfortable? What do you want out of life? I don't need a ton of money to live the lifestyle that I have. For 7 years, I did a gig where I made $0 on a Tuesday night to gain experience. And then for another 3 years after that, I was doing a Tuesday night gig for $50. In the gigs that you take, it shouldn't just be about money. That's not the goal. The goal is art. The goal is sharing creativity and expressing who you are as a person. And for many of us, it's through music. So we've just had to figure out how to be business owners as musicians. The last thing I want to talk about regarding freelance finance is deciding what gigs to do. There's 3 things: money, the hang, and the music. If you have 2 of those 3 things, it's probably a go. The place that you don't want to be is the money is good, but I don't like being around the people and I don't like the music. Being in that place is never, ever, ever going to give you fulfillment in life, and it is never, ever, ever going to make you a better artist. Because at that point, it's all about the money. One of the things that happens in the music industry, especially in the gigging economy, is things get awkward talking about money. And I don't like that. I think it's okay to talk about money. If someone is asking you to do a gig, it's okay to ask them how much you're gonna get paid to do the gig. You are a business owner. This is your thing. You go buy a car, you wanna know how much it is. So it's okay to say, all right, I will do this job for you. I will do this service, learn this material, play the gig, show up, do it wonderfully. What's the compensation? It's okay to ask those sort of questions. And if you are somebody doing the hiring, I think it's important that you make it very clear up front what that is. Money only gets awkward when the communication is not there. The other thing where things can get awkward is sometimes somebody might ask you to do a gig and the gig doesn't pay a lot of money, but you've committed to doing the gig. You agreed to doing it. My method is that I am normally looking for the best in people and I'm looking for the best in myself, and I want to deliver 100% no matter what the financial situation is. So what I want to make really clear is that different people are made to do different things. And some people are meant to be touring musicians. Some people are meant to be studio musicians. Some people are meant to have their own career as an artist. Some are meant to be in a band. Some are meant to be music teachers. And some people are meant to work in music stores. That's totally fine, and that's great. All of those are noble professions, and they're all part of the music industry. For some of you, you're just getting started as a professional musician. You've never had a professional situation at all regarding music. That's totally okay. There are foundational things that we need to cover as far as bills and things just to live. We all now have cell phones and a cell phone bill, and we need to have a place that we live, and we need to pay for internet and heat and gas and trash. And there are those kind of baseline bills. If you're not making enough money with music to do so, it's okay to get another job for a while or to figure out some way to make sure that those things are covered. Because I think some people think that they're losing if they have some sort of other job. But there's a lot of ways to look at that, and I don't think that at all. I think if you are focused on your art and you're really committed to your craft and working on what you do in music, and you need to supplement your income side of things for a period of time before you're making enough money as a musician, as your sole income, then that's okay. That's totally fine. Some people think that being a musician is not a real job. I even wrote a song about it called "Today I'm Gonna Get Myself a Real Job," which is less about jobs and more about the crippling self-doubt that some of us have occasionally being in a freelance industry. And it's not just musicians, it's photographers, it's graphic designers, it's videographers, it's entrepreneurs, carpenters, people that run their own business. It's hard. And sometimes we think, this is too much stress, I just need a real job. But the reality is, being a musician is a real job. There are lots of ways to make money in the music industry, and there is enough room for every one of you who is called to do this thing. So find your lane, be really good at it, strive for excellence, and do good business. And that's your real job.